The 8-year assault on your Second Amendment freedoms has come to a crashing end. I like taking the guns early. Take the guns first, go through due process second.
Well, I say go fuck yourself. Then ask a question, could I kill a man? I would enjoy myself. You can't disguise evil eyes that burn up my head. This devil man and his master plan. We feel so misled, so I say, rise up, take all that. Rise up, take all that. Hope you all understand. We got to take it all back again.
These people are not going to take it any longer. We will never give up. We will never concede. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. But go home and go home in peace. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. You do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the evening catch-up. It is Monday, and I have had an eventful weekend, and I hope you all have done well over the weekend. What's up, Gerald? Gerald is the first one in here. At first, I was kind of concerned. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, hope this is the right amount, the right time. But I was pretty sure of it since last night for the Dragon. I was a little late because I thought that it was going to be, instead of 7 my time, it was going to be 8 my time. And then I asked Google what time it was in Eastern time zone, and it told me that it was 9:15 or something like that. And I was like, oh crap, I gotta go start up the Dragon right now. And so we kind of rushed that one, but it was okay. It was just a gun chat. So this weekend I went to the gun show. If you didn't catch the Dragon, or well, yeah, that would have been the only place I talked about the gun show. At the gun show, I picked up 500 rounds of 45 ACP reloaded ammunition. But I'll tell you what, this stuff is nice. It's like all in nickel case, and it's federal. It's federal nickel, right? Full metal jacket, 500 rounds, $369. That's more than 50 cents a round, right? But in these times, I think that was a decent deal. We also got 300 blackout. We got 300 rounds of 300 blackout, a little bit over $1 a round at $407. Pray for me and my wallet. Oh, this trip to Texas, I'm already short on money. I was only supposed to spend, I only wanted to spend $500. Now that was $800 and something right there. And that's not even all of it, because when we went to Sportsman's Warehouse, they had gotten in like at least 2 pallets full of X-Tac PMC green tip ammunition. They also had some PMC bronze, but 223 and it was like $1 difference, right? I could get the 223 for like $7 a box of 20, which is a great deal. Or for $8.99 a box. It might have been more than I'm probably like $7 a box. I didn't check. I didn't care. I didn't even look, right? I don't care. $9, $8.99 a box for PMC X-Tac green tip. I'm on that all day long. Unfortunately, they're only limiting it to 2 boxes per person per day. So I went in there. I bought my 2 boxes. I also bought some shotgun ammunition, whatever. Right? But 2 boxes I went in there and bought. I came back to the house. Little girl wanted to go with me. We bought 2 more boxes each. That was 6 boxes. We then went to another store hoping that they would have some too. Nope, just this one Sportsman's Warehouse. Well, there was also a Cabela's nearby. We might as well check that out. Nope, they're out. So we go back to the original store. We go back in and out, I think 3 more times and pick up. So we ended up picking up, I think like 340 rounds, 320, 340, or 360. I don't even know. So we picked up quite a bit at $9 a box. So that means, but that adds up, right? That's a couple $100. So there you go. And now got to save up for the rest, the trip is Friday, right? So there's not going to be an evening catch up on Friday, just so you know. If I'm feeling really good at the time, I might, and if we're in a city, I might try to go live on my phone just to say hello. But as far as an actual episode with, good sound, a camera on a tripod, news. I mean, if you've ever seen somebody live stream on the road from their phone, you know how sad, well, it's difficult to watch. It is. But we will be updating you guys here and there next week. Probably not too many live streams because over in East Texas, it is really bad signal. Like you can't, when we're on the Green Dragon with the gun chat with East Texas Outlaws, it's hard to understand him because his internet's not that great. So I wouldn't think that we're going to be doing live streams very much, but I do hope to put up some shorter videos, and I will be posting that on the channel and tweeting it out and probably on the Discord and stuff. Make sure you're following me on all the stuff, right? If you're interested in this. We're going to go meet Glocker Bob again. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to make it to the actual shoot, but we're going to go to his house and say hello to him. Also, Pre-Dawn wants me to figure out things to do in Galveston, which apparently is an island off of Texas and has a boardwalk and stuff. I'm excited. I cannot wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so that was pretty much my weekend right there. We are on schedule, I believe, though. So let's go ahead and get to it. Biden is complicit in Cuomo's sex abuse for failing to speak out. Rather than hold elected officials to the highest standards of ethic conduct, President Biden has prioritized partisan politics. On Sunday, President Joe Biden tentatively dipped his toe into the scandal surrounding New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, saying that people should reserve judgment until the facts are out. I think the investigation is underway and we should see what it brings us, he said, according to Fox News. I would imagine, according to many news outlets, not just Fox, but whatever. I mean, if you want to go with that one, I guess go with that one. Representative Elisa Stefanski, best way I can pronounce it, said his refusal to take a stand on whether it was unacceptable, calling him a complicit in the cover-up. As bipartisan calls for the Governor Cuomo's resignation and impeachment at the federal and state levels continued to grow, President Biden has the responsibility to stand up for the American people and all New Yorkers, Stefanski said in a written statement released on Monday. Yesterday's statement makes it clear that the President of the United States is complicit in the cover-up of Cuomo's criminal conduct, including repeated sexual abuse. She continued, I am publicly calling on the President Biden to demand Governor Cuomo's immediate resignation and removal from office. Stefanski referenced not only 7 accusers who have leveled serious and credible allegations against Cuomo, but also the decision to summarily execute some 15,000 innocent nursing home residents by forcing healthy residents to commingle with sniffle-infected patients. At least 4 law enforcement agencies are now involved in building a case against him. She noted the FBI, the U.S. Justice Department, New York Attorney General Office, and Albany Police Department. Hopefully you defunded it. Ooh. Oh, my screen's just totally flashed off. Am I still live? Let's see. It looks like it. The last time my screens blinked like that, I had an issue with my graphics card. This could be bad. If the show gets shut down, it's not YouTube, it's my computer or something on it, because that was a flash on my screens. It comes as a little surprise that Biden, after having ducked accountability on several major scandals of his own during the campaign season, has been reluctant to assert his moral authority. Many Democrats drew criticism and charges of hypocrisy for defending him against the sexual assault allegations of former congressional staffer Tara Reade, as well as the disturbing accounts of his unwelcome verbal and physical interactions with married and unmarried women, young girls, and boys. In the wake of the Pound Me Too movement and the left's efforts to smear Republican figures, just won it again, like Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh with uncorroborated accusations, their eagerness to forgive Biden seemed disingenuous at best. Stefanski said that the Biden administration, less than 2 months in, has already failed to live up to the bar it set for high ethical standards and accountability. President Joe Biden has failed the American people in New York who demand transparency, accountability, and good government. Well, you elected Biden. You elected a guy who's been in there doing this kind of stuff for decades. What did you expect? Now that he's president, he's going to change his spots? It's looking okay here. I'm glad it's looking okay there, but it's a graphics card thing, I think. President Biden has failed to live up to his own standard of zero tolerance for sexual harassment, sexual grooming, sexual abuse, sexual assault, she continued. Rather than hold elected officials to the highest standards of ethic conduct, President Biden has prioritized partisan politics over the overwhelming and unified bipartisan calls for Governor Cuomo's immediate resignation. Yeah. All right. So we're going to watch the Mark Dice thing. This has something to do with Tucker Carlson. Apparently, I missed this story, but Biden is going to not only allow pregnant service, like people in the military, like you can be pregnant and in the military, but they're making flight suits, I guess, in uniforms for these people, and it kind of blew up over the weekend, I guess. So let's watch that and find out what's going on.
Since old Joe supposedly became the president, he's turning everything that made America great into an embarrassment. And sadly, that now includes the U.S. military. You may have seen the clip of him outlining his top priorities as the new commander-in-chief, which include making sure that there are maternity flight suits for the pregnant women in the military, just in case, I don't know, I guess they want to go fly a mission over Syria or something. Of course, I mocked old Joe for his priorities, and Tucker Carlson did a segment on it too, because great minds think alike. But that didn't sit very well with the media, or as you'll see, the the military.
Here's what Tucker Carlson, who has never himself served in uniform, maternity or otherwise, said on his show.
So we've got new hairstyles and maternity flight suits. Pregnant women are going to fight our wars. It's a mockery of the U.S. military. While China's military becomes more masculine as it's assembled the world's largest navy, our military needs to become, as Joe Biden says, more feminine, whatever feminine means anymore, since men and women no longer exist. The bottom line is it's out of control, and the Pentagon's going along with this. Again, this is a mockery of the U.S. military and its core mission, which is winning wars.
Of course, we expect CNN to obsess and fuss over Fox News, but several official U.S. Marine Twitter accounts also responded to Tucker by name, including this guy.
Drama TV. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I call it. I'll apologize up front and tell you that I don't have cable news at home, I don't have it here in the office, and I don't watch a lot of drama TV. I understand some comments were made yesterday, and I watched the clip that Mr. Carlson produced as he referred to pregnant women in the military. I'll remind everyone that his opinion, which he has a right to, is based off of actually 0 days of service in the armed forces. Let me offer you my opinion.
Listen, sir, I'm sure you're glad that Obama repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell, but we really don't need to hear about it. And things descended further into idiocracy when people started commenting on this guy's Jerry Nadler-esque physique. And then he got so defensive, he responded by posting some selfies of himself working out that appeared that they were taken about a decade ago. There's an old saying, it's not a military saying, but you still might have heard it, that a hit dog will holler. And what that means is, when somebody's accused of something, if they're extremely defensive about the accusation, that can actually be evidence that they're guilty, because it got under their skin, it really struck them to their core. And a normal person would have just ignored the trolls on Twitter. So. They certainly would have went and dug up a bunch of old photos of them lifting weights and proving that they really are tough, and then actually posted them as a response. Then a second official U.S. Marine account called out Tucker by name, and then the official verified U.S. Army counterintelligence.
Hold on. What it looks like in today's armed forces at Tucker Carlson. Get it right before you get left, boomer. Get right before you get left, boomer.
Intelligence page signal boosted another post about Tucker as well. Can you imagine if one of the U.S. military accounts called out Jim Acosta by name? The liberal media industrial complex would have had an absolute meltdown. The U.S. military is not supposed to get involved in partisan politics, let alone complain about the opinion of a cable news host. And so after the backlash started growing over the weekend, one of the Twitter accounts deleted the tweets, which is actually a violation of the Federal Records Act, because all communications from government entities, officials, employees are supposed to be preserved, just in case somebody needs to go back and analyze them in case there was any wrongdoing. Something that Hillary Clinton, of course, is very familiar with, but that's a whole other story. Tucker did respond, however, in true Tucker fashion.
Well, it was quite an experience yesterday, being the very first target in the Pentagon's new Operation Silence the Talk Show hosts. Friends called us in concern. Are you guys all right? And for a minute, we'll concede we were almost rattled. Then we realized if the woke generals treat us like they've treated the Taliban, we'll be fine. 20 years later, the Taliban are still here. Maybe we ought to promise the Pentagon that we'll get rid of traditional gender roles on this show, change the pronouns, defeat the patriarchy, and all that. Then they'd send us billions in unmarked $100 bills as a reward. They've certainly done that before.
Ouch. And while the social justice warriors, who are now apparently in control of the official United States Marines Twitter accounts, are upset at Tucker, Brian Stelter is especially upset.
Tucker Carlson is the new Donald Trump. Tucker has taken Trump's place as a right-wing leader, as an outrage generator, as a fire starter, and it's all happening on Fox, just like Trump's campaign did. I mean, think about all the ways these two men are similar. Every day, Carlson is throwing bombs, making online memes, offending millions of people, also delighting millions of others, tapping into white male rage and resentment, stoking distrust of big tech and the media, generally coarsening the discourse, never apologizing for anything.
Good.
And
you should never apologize.
the GOP's agenda. I mean, here's just some of what Tucker did in a single week this past week.
That's sure
He
actually
said pregnant
wrong.
service members are a mockery to the U.S. military and claimed the U.S. has a national masculinity crisis.
A masculinity crisis, huh? Well, you've obviously been demonstrating that, Brian. And under the Biden administration, I wouldn't be surprised if the U.S. military accounts start tweeting out things like, men can have periods too, or maybe they'll make the new uniforms pink to be more inclusive. If women want to serve in the military, that's great. I just don't think they should be on the battlefield. They belong in the kitchen. Lighten up, I couldn't resist. I just like triggering the feminists, but I mean, it's not a joke. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm 100% serious. You know that it's true. This is not a joke either. The Pentagon may reverse their new gender-neutral physical fitness testing.
I don't
for
mind
the
women
US
in the
Army
military if they can,
because the new
if they
test
can
has been scoring men and
hack
women
it.
on the same
On the
basis,
test.
the same standards, but more than half of the women are failing those tests. And back in 1997, Demi Moore starred in the film G.I. Jane, which tried to depict women as being equally qualified for the Navy SEALs, and after over 20 years of trying, one finally did. And don't even get me started on comparing the statistics between high school boy athletes and professional women athletes.
did. You just weren't here yet,
well,
Mr. T.
we don't need to embarrass them any further. Like the time those freshman boys beat the U.S. national women's soccer team. Yeah, we don't need to rub it in. Oh, and speaking of a hit dog...
Freshman college or freshman high school apparently beat a national women's team in soccer, I guess.
Yeah, we don't need to rub it in. Oh, boy athletes and tried to depict women as being equally qualified for the Navy SEALs, and after over 20 years of trying, one finally did. And don't even get me started on comparing the statistics between high school boy athletes and professional women athletes because, well, we don't need to embarrass them any further. Like the time those freshman boys beat the U.S. national women's soccer team. Yeah, we don't need to rub it in. Oh, and speaking of a hit dog hollering, Scott Adams, who's the guy behind the Dilbert comics, tweeted out that 20% of all news involves people in the news business criticizing others' work. And you'll never guess who decided to chime in the replies.
No, it does not.
Well, that settles it. It does. With old Joe being the new commander-in-chief, soon a U.S. Marine who identifies as gender non-binary will probably sue the Department of Defense for discrimination.
All right, we're going to end it there. Stinger's always on, LOL. What's up, Tony? I'm not always on? I'm not always on. I'm always on at this time. Well, this is early for me. Y'all adjusted your clocks, and I did not. It is 6 o'clock Mountain, well, 6:19 Mountain Standard Time when it used to be 7. But you know what? That's what I do. I change for you, so you don't have to. Let's see. Hold on. Fishing. Yeah, got another 400 rounds of 45 while available. Good. How much did you pay for it? That's the question. Ammo is available if you can pay for it. Stinger never mentioned how the gun show went. I did. It was at the beginning of the chat, and it went okay. I spent way too much money. Here's the thing. I bought a rare breed trigger. That was $400. I don't know why. I guess I just did. It'll be here tomorrow, so that'll be fun. That'll be here before I go, so that'll be really cool. All this really, during an ammo crisis, obviously. Best time to get a rare breed trigger. And then I went to Sportsman's Warehouse, picked up 2 boxes of X-Tac PMC green tip ammunition for .556, $9 a box, $8.99 a box, limit 2 per person per day. Well, I went in and out. Me and the wife went in and out a few times. I picked up like 360 rounds at $8.99, $9 a box. I think it was, I don't know, under 10, right? So there's a couple $100. Then I went to the gun show. I picked up 500 rounds of remanufactured 45, all nickel case. That was 500 rounds. I paid $369.95 for 500 rounds of remanufactured ammunition. I also picked up 300 rounds of 300 blackout for $407, which is over $1 a round, but 300 blackout. Anything under $2 a round right now is actually a decent deal. Luckily, I reload and cast my own 300 blackout, but I have a hard time finding small pistol or small rifle primers. There were some small rifle primers, or small pistol, sorry. They were small pistol primers at the gun show for $200 for a box of 1,000. You know, the box of 1,000 that used to go for $30 and 3 cents per primer is now going for 20 cents per primer and $200 for 1,000 of them. But I have a lot less money. I was going to have about $3,500 saved up for the trip. I wanted to spend about $500 on ammo. I ended up spending probably about $1,500 on ammo and another $400 on a trigger. So we're definitely hurting on the money issue part, but we have some backups just in case. And we're still going to have a great time. We're going to go and have a good one. Breaking, Bobcat sighting. Your neighbor's cat doesn't look very friendly. If you're talking about northern down there, yeah, she's a cutie. You need a 308. I would love a 308. They also had 308 at Sportsman's Warehouse for a good price. I think. I didn't pick any up. I don't have a 308. I did see a 80% lower for an AR-10, and I wanted it so bad, and I just kept looking at my receipt on the ammo I had just bought and knew that I had bought a whole bunch of 5.56 as well, and it's just like, and a rare breed. I can't do it. It was like $120. I've spent too much. What am I going to do? I'm going to go to Texas and have to find a job there because I won't have no money to get home. All right. 2 charged in assault of Capitol officer Brian Sicknick, who died after the siege. U.S. officials have arrested and charged 2 men with assaulting U.S. Capitol Police officer Brian Sicknick with bear spray during the January 6th riot, but they do not yet know whether it was the cause of the officer's death. Well, I would imagine it's not. I doubt it. I don't know. Maybe. It's less than, right? It's less than lethal. You know what? Cops use pepper spray all the time. They also use tasers. Sometimes people die from that stuff. So I guess. George Tanos, 39, of Morgantown, West Virginia, and Julian Qatar, 32, of Pennsylvania, were arrested on Sunday. They were expected to appear in federal court on Monday. The idea that Sicknick died after being sprayed by a chemical irritant has emerged in recent weeks as a new theory in the case. Investigators initially claimed Sicknick was hit in the head with a fire extinguisher, despite no evidence of such an incident. Well, here's the great thing. Investigators claimed that he was hit in the head with a fire extinguisher. These people who are going to go to court and go to trial, oh, their attorneys are going to eat that shit up. As they've collected more evidence, the theory of the case has evolved, and investigators now believe Sicknick may have ingested a chemical substance, possibly bear spray, that may have contributed to his death, officials have said. Again, they have no evidence such as toxicology reports or verify the theory. Qatar is the man in the video obtained by the FBI that showed him spraying Sicknick and others with bear spray, according to court papers. The act hasn't been tied to Sicknick's death. Give me that bear expletive, Carter said to the Tanos on the video. According to court papers, Sicknick and other officers were standing guard near metal bike racks, the paper said. Qatar then said they just effing sprayed me, as he's seen holding a white can with a black top that prosecutors said appears to be a can of a chemical spray. So let me get this right. Somebody sprayed this guy, right? And then he says they just effing sprayed me. And then he sprayed the officer, and the officer died? Well, here's the question. Did the officer spray first? I suppose it doesn't really matter in this world. It doesn't, Sicknick died after defending the Capitol against the mob that stormed the building as Congress was voting. Yeah. The circumstances surrounding remain unclear, and then his cause of death has not been determined. Capitol Police have said that he died after he was injured while physically engaging with protesters, and the agency's acting chief officials consider it a line-of-duty death. Sicknick collapsed later on and died at the hospital on January 7th. The Justice Department opened a federal murder investigation into his death, but prosecutors are still evaluating what specific charges could be brought in the case. The people said the medical examiner report on Sicknick's death is incomplete. Oh, I can't wait. This is going to be a good one to follow. Capitol Police said they were awaiting the toxicology reports, and the FBI has already released about 250 photos of people being sought. Some have already been arrested, and the Justice Department said about 300 people have been charged with federal offenses related to the siege. And as I told everybody, I don't usually like to do the I told you so's, right? And I'm not, because I know y'all listen, right? But this is why I said before the siege on the 6th, because I didn't know there was going to be a siege, right? Before the 6th happened, I said, if you go, make sure you take care of your identity. Wear your mask. Don't drive your own car. Do not pay with a credit card. Pay with cash. And why is that? Oh, you're just being paranoid. Oh, you're no better than Antifa. No, because if you were even there, no, you didn't go up to the steps. No, you went to see your favorite president of the United States have a speech. And after that, you planned on going home. You did nothing wrong. You went to Washington. They're looking for you. If you go to these things, any of these things, I think now we should all understand they are going to find you. They're going to put up billboards saying, looking for anything. They're going to get friends and family that you know. Hey, was that person there? Right? Wear your mask. If somebody on your side, you really scared of the sniffles? Yeah. Leave me alone. And take your precautions. Okay. Let's see. Yikes. Hey, Trent. I paid less than $1 a round and a half was hollow points. Nice. Luckily, I have I'd say probably about 400 hollow points left for my 45. I had gotten federal HSTs, hollow points, the night. I did my research. I don't know what you guys all shoot. Everybody should do their own research for their own hollow points or their own protective devices. But the research I did, it was it was Tennessee Outdoors 9. Tennessee Outdoors 9. He does all the ballistic videos, right? And he had done ballistics testing on the HST. And I absolutely love the ballistics on that HST. It is massive, right? So I picked, and you could get them 50 round boxes for like 23 or no, it was like I think $27 or $28. I don't remember. It was under $30, under $1 a round for HST hollow points. And I bought 500 of them for the 45. I bought I think 1,000 for the 9mm. I've shot a lot of those though. I still have probably 600 or 700 of them though. All right, Postradamus said, I say 6 deaths that the false flag number note the man was cremated ASAP, false flag victim. Okay, so you're saying that the officer who got pepper sprayed and supposedly died has been cremated and they're going to get busted for it? Maybe. I need some 308 soft point ammo for my 308 and my wife's 308 deer guns. Better get to be reloading. Although finding a large rifle primer now, actually large rifle primers aren't nearly as hard to find as small pistol or small rifle. Big orange honey trap, movement hijacker, all psyop. So remember, people were turned in by family and coworkers. Really riddle. I did not know that. HST are top of the line in 9mm, 40 and 45. That's what I'm saying, Trance. I mean, I think my second choice would probably be the Hornady VMAX. You know, the ones with the rubber tip. Those are nice. Those have never failed me in a ballistics test, and I've seen them perform well. The HSTs, I just think they open up better. But they might fail more often, but I haven't seen them fail yet. And other than that, Gold Dot, I guess. Gold Dot's a really good one too. All right. Trump rebuffs NRSC. Won't budge on plans to campaign against Murkowski. Senator Rick Scott from Florida attempted to convene former President Trump to support the National Republican Senatorial Committee candidates for 2022, even those who voted to convict him in his impeachment trial. But Trump wouldn't budge. Scott, who chairs the NRSC, met with Trump on Sunday at Mar-a-Lago to mend the former president's relationship with the Republican establishment. Trump also fought with the NRSC about its use of his name and likeness to raise funds for candidates who oppose his policies and attacked him personally. Trump advisor Jason Miller said last week that the name and likeness dispute has been resolved. Well, that's good. Scott hopes to use Trump's popularity to his advantage in 2022 midterms, but Trump has already distanced himself from the NRSC by vowing to support primary challenges to establishment-backed Republicans. I want to be an additive. I want us all to row the boats in the same direction, Scott said. My goal is to tell Trump what I'm doing. I've talked to him, and he tells me he wants to be helpful to me. He's committed to Republicans to take back the majority in the United States, or the U.S. Senate, I'm sorry. The meeting between Trump and Scott took place after the NRSC announced it would support Senator Murkowski from Alaska, who voted to convict Trump during the impeachment trial. Trump previously stated that he would campaign against rhinos like Murkowski, calling her disloyal and a very bad senator. She represents her state badly and her country even worse. He continued, I do not know where other people will be next year, but I know where I'll be. Alaska, campaigning against this disloyal and very bad senator. Yeah. I don't know. Still like Trump for some reasons, you know? Do we all need to come together? Trump believes that his whole thing was darfed, right? Darfing going on. He thinks that happened. I think that probably something's not right. It doesn't make sense. I'm not a smart man, right? But you're going to tell me that Joe Biden got more votes than Obama did? That people, they didn't vote for Joe Biden. Nobody, maybe his wife, maybe his immediate family. Nobody voted for Biden because they liked him or thought he would do a good job. They just didn't want Trump. It was a referendum on Trump. That's what the vote was. And I figured there was no way Trump could lose that, right? Because there was no excitement for Biden. Biden couldn't hold a crowd if he paid them. He couldn't get a crowd. Whereas Trump was getting crowds all the time. Trump got more votes in 2020 than he did in 2016 and still lost, right? Biden not only beat out Trump's numbers from 2016, but 2020 and beat out Obama. He has gotten the most votes of any president of the United States ever. And yet we have to have National Guard guarding our Capitol for the most voted for president of all time? I don't get that. I don't understand it. So tell me, if you think something bad went on, if you think there was some sort of darfing going on in November, why, Rick Scott, do you think that y'all need to get back in line and try it again and that it won't happen again? Are you that stupid? Are you that dense? Or did you make a deal in the back room saying, well, we just did it this one time to get out this one dude, right? And then going forward, we'll play ball as long as you are, two wings of the same bird. We'll have a bunch of the FMJ and 308, but I don't hunt with FMJ. Found 6 boxes of Gold Dot 45 in an ammo can. Made me smile yesterday. Yeah, I bet. Gold Dot's expensive. I've only ever been able to get it in 20 round boxes, and I'll tell you what, you pay like $30 for it back in the day. I don't even know how much it is now. So glad you kept my word, Darf. Hell yeah, bro. It's in the descriptions and everything. It just rolls off the tongue. It does. It's a lot better. Newsom launches his campaign against likely recall effort. I would say it's more than likely. It's going to happen, I think. I mean, that's the whole reason why you do. I guess maybe they find out that there was a whole bunch of fake signatures or something. California's Governor Gavin Newsom established a political committee Monday to begin raising money to defend his seat in a potential recall election, the strongest acknowledgement to date that he expects to be on the ballot this year. The Democrats' new fundraising arm could soon send a powerful message to his possible rivals. Under state rules, Newsom alone is allowed to raise money in unlimited amounts, while other candidates must adhere to contribution limits. That's kind of messed up. It's likely he will soon receive a flood of cash from his familiar Democratic constituency, including powerful public workers unions that spend millions of dollars helping him to get into office in 2018. The California Democratic Party quickly showed its support with a $250,000 contribution. And this is why a lot of people don't get ousted on recalls if they're playing by those rules. Organizers of the recall said they have collected over 2 million petition signatures to place the election on the ballot. About 1.5 million are needed for it to qualify, though hundreds and thousands must still be validated by elected officials. In a tweet, Newsom said, "I won't be distracted by this partisan Republican recall, but I will fight it. There is too much at stake." That's bullcrap. It's not just Republicans, because 1.5 million, you've gotten over 2 million people to sign. I doubt all of those are Republicans. I bet you maybe a little more than half, maybe. Right? Newsom has lined up support from state and national Democrats to defeat the campaign against him. The committee started the drive with an advertisement attacking the recall effort as a Republican power grab. The New Jersey Democratic Senator Cory Booker said in a statement released by the committee that Newsom's leadership during the pandemic kept California safe and helped them recover financially. Yeah, defeating the recall will be one of the most important priorities for a Democrat this year, Booker said. Stacey Abrams of Massachusetts and Warren, progressive California U.S. Representative Kahana, and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders also added their names to the anti-recall effort. Big surprise there. Democrats have depicted the recall effort as seeded with extremists and supporters of former Republican President Donald Trump. However, recall organizers says 38% of the petition signatures have come from independents and Democrats. So yeah, a little bit more than half are Republicans. That could not immediately be verified. There you go. Let's see. Those were 50-round boxes. Oh, yeah, I have seen them when I was getting the HSTs, right? I've seen Lawman. Lawman also, I think, uses it. I don't remember. But I've seen it. I've never bought it, though. Checking out Recoil Gunworks or Bone Frog Gun Club for Gold Dots or HST. Used to be way cheaper, but still in stock now. Wow, that's cool. I'm not buying nothing. You cannot tempt me. Get away from me, Satan. Get out of here. No, I will not buy any more ammo. I don't need any more ammo right now. And especially hollow points. As I said, I got enough hollow points to last me quite a few self-defense situations. So I think I'm good, other than just shooting it into some ballistics gel and having a good time. I could probably use myself. I mean, for my pistol, I'm not going to shoot anything other. I mean, it's not a hunting pistol, right? It's only for self-defense, so no need. Give me a bigger smile. Let's see. Great future barter items. My thoughts. Yeah, ammunition is always a good barter item. Like right now, it's a great stack. That's a great precious metal stack. I could easily. I mean, how much could I sell those green tips for right now? I'm thinking definitely over $1 a round, right? I mean, green tips. I don't know. Dim's best election stealing lawyer slapped with a court sanction for ethics violation. Shit. I said the S word. Now, hopefully it'll be fine. I said that, well, the S word should be fine, but I said it right after the E word. So hopefully they don't give me crap. By the way, my first strike on YouTube comes off on the 17th. So Wednesday. We just got to get to Wednesday. If we can get to Wednesday without getting the strike, we will be one strike less and be a little bit further away from the danger of losing the channel. So we're hoping. And that's why I'm a little bit upset that I used that word. Because I didn't mean to, YouTube. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The architect of some of the left's most audacious and egregious vote darfing efforts was slapped with sanctions by a federal court for violating ethics rules. Ooh. Mark Ellis, whom former President Trump once called Democrats' best election darfing lawyer, was rebuked by the Fifth Court of Appeals for attempting to file an identical motion to the one he had already been denied when it was filed months ago by the same attorneys. Eliza's and his legal team violated their duty of candor to the court by neglecting to disclose the prior judgment, said the sanction order. The court required attorneys to pay legal fees and double the court costs to the state of Texas. Democratic plaintiffs, including the Democratic senatorial and congressional campaign committees, were attempting to fight a state law that banned straight ticket voting. Really? What's wrong with that? Ellis claimed that he has resubmitted the rejection motion because he thought its denial no longer applied. Appealees' only explanation for the redundant and misleading submission is they construed the original denial of their motion to supplement the record as an order that applied to only the emergency stay proceedings, said the court. There is no legal bias to support appealees post-HOC whatever. In addition to this financial sanctions, the court also suggested that the attorneys do their homework by brushing up on the court's ethic guidelines. Further violations of the court rules may subject attorneys to further sanctions, yada yada. So it's like a slap on the wrist, right? Yeah, slap on the wrist. He's fine. So he has to pay a fee? How much is the fee? After arguing against the practice of ballot harvesting in 2018 election challenge to a Republican in North Carolina, he reversed himself by coming out in favor of it during the 2020 election. In the aftermath of the most recent election, as Democrats repeatedly sought to deny Trump's allegations of darfing, Eliza's attempted to claim the machines in a New York race had undercounted the Democratic candidate using those exact arguments. Likewise, after long maintaining that Trump could not use Congress to reverse the outcome of his own race against Joe, House Democrats are now seeking to do just that in an Iowa race, which Republican Representative Marionette Miller Meeks defeated Democratic incumbent, by a margin of 6 votes. We remember that. Ellis is representing Hart in her efforts to reverse the outcome, claiming that some ballots were improperly discarded. It's no surprise that Rita Hart would hire an ethic challenged lawyer to help her try and darf an election, said Mike Berg, spokesman for the National Republican Congressional Committee. Great future barter items. My thoughts. I don't barter things that can kill me. I mean, if you don't know the person, I don't know. I get where you're coming from, but I don't think they would try it, because anything that you give up, it's not the only thing you have. If I give you a box of 50 rounds, you best believe I got more than 50 rounds back there and on me. I've sold ammunition before. I've sold guns before. I bought guns before. Every time you buy a gun from a local person, you're taking a chance. What's to say, it's a Glock, right? If I buy a Glock from somebody, who's to say I don't already have a magazine that fits it, fully loaded, in my pocket? So I'm looking at the Glock. I put in the magazine and I pop them. Pop, 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 pop. Guess who got a free Glock? I don't think I would worry about that too much. I think it'd be fine. Let's see. These are trades between friends. I don't want to get killed either. Seriously. Y'all need to be trusting a little bit more. Has anybody here, Mr. TB9 or Terrance, have you ever bought or sold a firearm to an individual? You don't have to answer it in chat, but if you've sold or bought a firearm, private transfer, or sold, then you've taken that risk. So what if it's ammunition? I'd rather just sell him ammunition, because then he's got to load it in the magazine. If he's going to load it in the magazine, guess guess what I got? I already got one that's loaded. I'd be more worried about selling a Glock. NBC, CNN ratings are collapsing without Trump. They've been saying that for years. Has seen a drastic drop in ratings since President Trump lost the election. Fox has lost too, but nothing like the left-leaning news networks. CNN Tonight with Don Lemon is down 32%. Wow. Overall, CNN's primetime shows lost the most viewers. All right. Trump is no longer in office. Trump is no longer on Twitter. Trump is no longer on Facebook. Yes, Trump releases statements. These are not as effective as his tweets or anything he would release as a president. Yeah, you lose your focal point, you're going to have a bad time. Trump derangement syndrome does not work as well when Trump's not the president. You know, CNN and NBC want Trump to run in 2024. I would imagine they would. For Trump and MSNBC and CNN were struggling to have any audience at all. Trump single-handedly saved them all. With him gone, the predictable collapse of their audience is now underway, especially among the young demographic. Trump was a sugar high that temporarily jolted a corpse. Interesting. It's whatever it is. Let's see. I'm just saying in an SHTF scenario. But can't eat bullets. That's right. Here's the thing. You got to trust people. SHTF or not, man. Is there bad people in this world? Yeah, for sure. There's always been bad people in this world. In an SHTF situation, most likely any and all, like if we're talking Walking Dead kind of SHTF, you know, where it's just little groups of people who are doing whatever they're doing, right? But these little groups, if you're in a little group and you're going to trade some of your ammo, you're going to have people around. If you're by yourself, you're going to probably have somebody around. If you're absolutely by yourself, you don't have a wife, you don't have kids, you have nobody, then you're dead whether you trade off ammunition or not. In a true SHTF scenario, you need to network with people, right? And networking with people, they'll have things that you don't have and you'll have things they don't have. Hence the trading part of it anyway. But also, I mean, if you have that little group, that whole little group could then be like, hey, let's trade with that group over there. All right, well, we'll all go together. All right, cool, great. Let's do that. Don't tell me you're not going to trade ammo. Of course you're going to trade ammo. It's a great trading thing. It's very useful for everybody. I really highly doubt you're going to get shot over it because you're going to take those precautions. You're not going to go in a dark alley by yourself with a whole group of other people from the other side. You're, I'd like to sell you this box of ammo. Please don't shoot me. Right? You're going to bring people. As long as you're smart enough to, know to bring people and you're selling them a box of 50 45s, what are you going to sell them 50 45s for? Let's say you sell it for $2 a round. That's $100. $100? Now, we're talking SHTF, right? I'm still saying its value is probably about $100 in today's money, max, right? So what would you buy in today's money for $100 that you might need? Couple days worth of food? You going to kill somebody and risk dying yourself for a couple days of food? Or are you worried about them coming back with that ammunition when you're asleep? Because you should have your shit set up for defense. You should have dogs. You should have a plan. You should have all that already. Right? Going off on a tangent now, boy. All right. Speaking of food, the push to prevent the next meat shortage is hitting a big obstacle. Sudden meat shortages last year because of the sniffles led to millions of dollars in federal grants to help small meat processors expand so the nation could lessen its reliance on giant slaughterhouses to supply grocery stores and restaurants. Well, they want us to eat insects and what is it? Simulated meat, like shortages of protective clothing for healthcare workers, hospital equipment, and even toilet paper. The reality of empty meat counters was a shock to many Americans unaccustomed to scarcities. It woke a lot of people up, did it not? But where most other supply gaps are being addressed by changing how the U.S. acquires key items, the money flowing to small slaughterhouses shows no signs of solving the meat problem. The meat industry has been consolidating for decades, and 80% or more of meat is slaughtered by just a few companies, whose operations were crippled last year when the sniffles began spreading among workers. Even a significant increase in processing capacity in those small and mid-sized processors, that's a small amount of in the grand scheme of things. Iowa Agriculture Secretary Mike Naig said, yes, it will provide some relief, but no, it's not at the level that will rival the big processors. So apparently they've all consolidated into a few companies. Or as Terry Hauser, a meat processing expert at Iowa State University, put it, small plants can't replace the big plants when they go down. The problem illustrates the difficulty of creating more sources of supply in an industry that is trending in the opposite direction. There is little doubt that the grants will help small processors and in turn provide sorely needed rural jobs, but the economic of meat now centers on large, highly efficient slaughterhouses, not smaller plants whose numbers have been decreasing sharply. Well, it might be a good time to get into the butchering. Have you ever thought about being a butcher? Start up a family butcher. It's gonna be a good thing. The number of small operations, it'd probably be a good job security if nothing else. The number of smaller operations that met local demand plunged by 42% to 1,910 between 1990 and 2016, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. When the sniffles stricken thousands of workers at the big slaughterhouses, forcing some to close temporarily, output dropped to 60% of normal. Many producers suddenly had nowhere to take their animals for slaughter, and the small processors who remain, who mostly provide meat for local groceries and farmer markets, couldn't take up the slack. Later, Iowa was among the at least 16 states that used some of the billions of dollars in federal sniffle relief aid to provide grants to small meat processors, enabling them to replace equipment and expand. In Iowa, the state awarded $4 million to help 109 small meat and poultry plants increase production, with some of the funding also going towards marketing and education. Likewise, Arkansas awarded $5 million in federally funded grants. In Indiana divvied up $4 million, and Montana used $2 million to fund grants up to $150,000. Most of the money went to small town businesses, which had withered as large plants opened that could daily process thousands of cattle and up to 20,000 hogs. Small processors typically slaughter only 10 to 20 animals a week. When the larger plants began closing last spring, some hog farmers ended up killing and burying thousands of animals. That's a shame. Jeff Hodges, who owns a small processor in the tiny northwest Iowa city of Minden, said he was overwhelmed with business last spring and is still scheduling a year into the future as demand for locally raised meat remains strong. Well, that's only a good thing. As I said, if you got into this business, you would have a lot of work to do, and you might make some money. At first, it was a giant nightmare, Hodges said. Now you're used to the norm of you being maxed out, and you pray everybody shows up for work. Hire more people. This is how this works. This is why I was against car manufacturers being bailed out. Because if new manufacturers had been allowed to rise up, they would have They would have picked up the slack eventually. Sure, it would have taken a while, but they would have eventually. Meanwhile, we have plenty of cars on the road already. Hodges has received a $33,000 grant to buy a splitting saw, grinder, and other equipment, but he needed to spend closer to $750,000 to substantially increase production. That's a big investment for a business he bought in the mid-90s for $90,000. Yeah, you bought that business for $90,000. You're going to be putting in almost $750,000. Wow. The key to lessening dependence on the big processors is to make larger grants and loans available to mid-sized processors, said Rebecca Thistlewaite, a rancher and director of the Oregon-based niche meat processor assistance network. That's an expensive proposition, with such plants costing $20 million or so. Even if the government offers more money, expansion in an industry with low profit margins could be slow, she said. A lot of people think that by changing policy, all of a sudden a bunch of new entrepreneurs, hey, look, here you go. This is why my idea won't work, are going to come into the space. And that's not going to happen, she said. You don't have a bunch of people sitting on a bunch of money who are saying, oh, I just can't wait to start a meat processing plant. That is true. Some farmers, like the owners of Vaughn Farms near the small central Iowa community of Maxwell, say their chance of building their specialty cattle operation could depend on small processors expanding. With processors already booking out until next year, farmers must schedule space for cattle that aren't even born yet. That's a hard business, and that's hard because animals grow at different rates, just like people. Okay. Try to gauge when someone is going to be 1,200 pounds or the optimal weight for harvesting has been a struggle. Co-owner Geraldine says she hopes the government's sudden interest in building up small processors makes a difference. I'm happy for the small processors that have become relevant again, and they're definitely trying to handle the demand. Yeah, that's cool. Interesting. All right, let's scroll up. Now it made me hungry. Okay. Sorry about that, Mr. TB9. As long as I have some ammo, I won't worry a lot about food. Might not be able to eat bullets, but I can eat the animals. Here's the thing. Another thing, if it's a true SHTF, you better know how to make your own ammunition, because all the ammunition that you stockpile is going to last you how long? How long? If I took the ammo that I have now, which isn't a whole bunch, but that's only going to last me so long, right? Maybe if I have 10,000 rounds per rifle and I've got 1,000 rounds per pistol, right? And I've got enough space to store that, and I don't have to leave that space. But in an SHTF, you might have to leave that space. And if you have to leave that space, how are you transporting all that ammunition? It weighs a ton, a literal ton, right? You can't just get up and go with that. If you have to get out of Dodge really quick for some reason, you better have that constituency, right? Or you better have your place protected. I know Irish, he set up defenses around his house. He's like, I ain't going nowhere. This is my last stand. So if it's your last stand, great. Stock up as much as you can, but eventually that's going to go away. This is why I'm not only reloading, but I'm also trying to learn how to make these components without doing that. I know how to make black powder, and I know how to reload a primer that's corrosive. So the black powder would be corrosive and the primer would be corrosive. However, Elvis Ammo right now on YouTube. If you don't know who Elvis Ammo is on YouTube and you're into reloading, you should definitely check him out. He's trying to come up with a recipe to reload primers that are non-corrosive. And I'm interested in that. With stuff that you can basically find anywhere. All right. As long as I have some ammo, I won't worry a lot about food. Might not be able to eat bullets, but I can eat the animals. Just want to see my $1,400 check. I hope by Friday. Let you know. All right, cool. Yeah, we're still waiting on ours because it's not coming through our direct deposit. It's going to have to come through the mail. Went to the check, the status, and didn't have one. My $1,400 check is showing at my bank, says pending until Wednesday. Payment status not available. We are unavailable to provide the status of your payment right now because we don't have enough information yet. We're working on this. Oh, great. That's exactly what you want to hear. I could use that money too. Like, seriously, if we had gotten the $1,400 checks, I would have no issue with Texas right now. But right now, I'm a little bit worried. I'm not going to lie, because we did overspend on this stuff. I might have to sell some stuff. They are putting the screws in my ankle Thursday afternoon. They want me at the hospital at 2 for the sniffles test and in the OR at 4. Wow, you get the sniffles test the same day? They always schedule that a day or two before I had to go in, but that's cool. It's all loaded in my Killdozer and on my pack mules. I do have a few magazines that are empty, but that's just me being lazy. Everything has a full mag in it, and I do have full mags in locations, but I do have a few empties. You have a Killdozer? Yep. You all have a Discord? I sure do. Boom, there you go. All right. Yeah, check out the Discord. We have all sorts of different great rooms there, right? A place for you to talk about ammunition if you found any deals, right? You have political memes. You have pets if you have pets and you want to show off your pets, right? We have voice channels that we can talk if we wanted to and stuff like that. In fact, I might actually test that out. Maybe we'll try to do a evening catch-up on Discord on Friday, because I bet you that would probably go better than on YouTube. I don't know. So if you're on my Discord, be on the lookout for that. I might look into doing something like that, or at least live streaming from the road on Discord and just talking to you or whatever. If there's nobody there though, it doesn't record. So like once it's gone, it's gone. Other than that, check out all the other descriptions in the links below, or all the links in the descriptions below. We have all the causes I believe in and support. My good friend Irish USMC vet is trying to start up a location in Tennessee where veterans can come and stay room and board free while learning a new skill like farming, blacksmithing, or gunsmithing. I believe in this cause the most. There are some other ones down there that are really important. However, of course, he is my good friend and I really believe in this cause. So any donation made to this channel, half of it goes to him because of that. Now, if you want to donate to this channel with your money, you can. You definitely not required. It's appreciated, but not expected, right? If you want to support my channel, but not with your money, which is totally understandable, I get that. The best way to do it is like, subscribe, and then share it with anybody you think might like this kind of content. Also, down below, you'll find out different links of all the places you can find me. I have, this YouTube channel, but I also have a backup one. I'm on Gab. I'm on DLive currently. So if I'm ever not live on YouTube on my regular channel or my backup, check out DLive, because I haven't missed a beat on DLive. I'm also on Rumble and on Twitter. I have not figured out how to get Rumble to work too well. I need to go over there and put some stuff up. I will be uploading to Rumble. By the way, I will be uploading to Rumble. I have a magazine that holds 150 rounds. I have over 360 rounds of green tip, because I already had some, so I probably have like 450 to 500 rounds of green tip. 150 round magazine, and a forced reset trigger. We are going to do some shit. We're going to do some epic shit. It's going to be epic. Like, I'm super hyped. I don't even know what it is yet. It's going to be something epic. Because I'm not going to drop 150 rounds on anything less than epic. We're going to record it. And I will probably put out an edited, extremely edited version of it on YouTube. But the unedited and the raw footage will be up on Rumble. Well, I mean, I'll edit that too, but you get what I'm saying. The unedited version, the one that will have the sounds and the extra explosions, if there are any, or whatever it is, we'll definitely have it up on Rumble. So make sure you're following that. Anyway, what's up, Broken Patriot? How you doing? Ah, you thought it was at 7. Dude, we're ending. It was daylight savings time. Don't you know that? So the evening catch-up is now going to be at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time and not 7 Mountain Standard Time. Get a 22 LR conversion. Nah. I have a 22. 22 is hard to find too. Maybe I might consider it if 22 wasn't hard to find. But I already have a 22 and I have maybe 5,000 rounds. Maybe. I'm okay on 22. And I'm not looking to buy any more of it. The conversion for it, yeah, I guess. But I can't use that 150 round magazine. And who wants to see 100? Even if I could, who would want to see 150 rounds of 22? That's no fun, dude. I butcher my shit. Right? My original AR, that's the one that's going to be taking the force reset trigger. That thing has been abused so much, I've rebuilt it. Right? It's a brand. It's pretty much everything. The upper, other than the bolt carrier and the piston system and the brake. So the brake, the piston system, and the bolt carrier group and the charging handle. That's original. The upper, the barrel, all's been changed out, including the cotter pin. The lower has pretty much been changed out for the most part. All right? And now we're going to have a force reset trigger. It's going to be epic. Absolutely epic. I don't see you in our Discord trance. Oh, well, you can join our Discord right there. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. I will check you out tomorrow night for Broken Patriot. Tomorrow night's evening catch-up will be at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and 9 Eastern, and also 6 p.m. Pacific, because now we're same time as California. Until then, though, make sure to keep your family close, watch out for that government, try to live as free as you can in the world that we live in right now, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.